this computer. Hey there. So today I'm happy to have Beck Ravenswood here. She's in Pennsylvania and is like under like modern day like witch hunt in a way. So
Yeah,
odd. So I'm happy to have you here
definitely.
to
Kind of. Yes.
tell
It
us
sounds
tell us your
dramatic.
story. Yeah, I know it sounds very dramatic, but it's like way to bring up the old witch wounds like right to the present day. So
For real. For real.
so Beck is a tarot reader, owns a metaphysical store, and has confronted some old laws that need to be turned around in this modern
Yeah.
time. So
Hopefully. Like fingers crossed and toes crossed too, for
yeah,
that matter.
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Beck, for being here. And I'm happy to
Yeah.
like amplify the message. So we're just getting acquainted. So tell me, about yourself. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Thank you so much for having me on as well. I so deeply appreciate like anyone who even wants to hear this story because like
yeah.
truthfully, I am just like I'm in the middle of like rural Pennsylvania. Like there is not a whole lot of like I don't know, like intrigue unless you consider the Amish, I suppose. But
Yeah. So like
uh
where in Pennsylvania? Like if you're looking at the
so
rectangle, where
okay,
are
if you're
you?
looking at the rectangle, we are right at the bottom, right?
Okay.
So that bottom edge and like kind of up like
Hmm.
to the right, like to the east, I guess. So
Okay.
we're kind of
Okay.
in south central Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I'm about 2.5 hours away from Philly and about 4.5 from Pittsburgh and very, very far from Erie, which is like on the other side of the state. So
Okay.
Pennsylvania is very far away from Pennsylvania, I like to say. But
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge.
it's massive. But we, in our tiny little corner in Hanover, Pennsylvania, Hanover, if anyone has had like Snyder's of Hanover, like
Yes.
pretzels,
Yeah.
that is like the town that I'm in. So we're
Oh,
like famous
nice.
for like our pretzels and potato chips. We're called Snacktown, USA. And apparently we're also famous for witch trials. No, just kidding.
Soon to be.
But basically, I moved to Hanover like in 2019, and I really found like a nice little home here. There's a lot of like actually like very artistic, very like queer, very progressive people in Hanover. You kind of just got to know where to look. Um, you know, so in 2023 I decided to open up a metaphysical store because I've been a practicing pagan. I I always joke that I discovered paganism and witchcraft via Scooby-Doo, like when I was like 12, because I was like obsessed with the Hex Girls. Like I thought they were so cool, and they weren't witches, they were Wiccans. And as soon
Okay.
as I heard that, like a spark like went off in my brain, and I was like, I have to be that. Like whatever that is, I want that. Right. So cut to 13 years later or so. I opened up my metaphysical store in 2023,
Mhm.
and that's kind of where my story starts. It actually starts before we were technically officially open. It was kind of like a soft opening or like a soft launch, right?
Mhm.
So I because Hanover's a small town, we have a really great little nonprofit that works with local businesses in the downtown area called Main Street Hanover. Um, and they had a service at the time, which I don't think they do anymore, and I think it's kind of my fault, so sorry. But they would write like a little article, like a feature on a downtown business and post it on their Facebook page just to like promote them. It was free, like it was a cool little service. And I like, you fill out like a Google form on their website and like they sent somebody out to come talk to you and to take pictures, which was super cool.
Right.
So I was scheduled, I like coordinated with them to be featured in October. Being a witchy
Yeah,
store, I thought
right,
it would
right.
be, and our opening day, our grand opening was going to be Samhain, which is going to be Halloween of that year.
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
wanted to drum up some excitement. The article that they wrote up was beautiful. It went up on October 3rd of 2023, which is like a day that is like seared into my mind. And it's also like Mean Girls Day, which I think is very
Oh,
funny in the
funny. Yeah.
context of this story.
Right.
But I basically they put up the article. I saw it, I read it, I shared it in like all the groups and stuff. It was really cool. And then I like turned off my phone and went about my day. I remember I had a couple errands. I looked at my phone and I see like a message from the nonprofit, and they were like, Beck, we're so sorry. Like, we just got a call from the police chief of Hanover, and he told us that he read the article and that because of it, he's going to come in to let you know that in Pennsylvania there's a law that makes tarot reading illegal. And because they had included in the last sentence of the article that I provide tarot reading as a service, right? Like that's something that people could book an appointment to come in and do. Because that sentence was in the article, he read it and then decided that, you know what, this is a big problem for Hanover,
Wow.
and was going to come in and cite the law to me. He said he wasn't going to arrest me that day, and he told them, right, he wasn't planning to arrest me that day, but he did feel it was necessary to let me know that he would be back, right, in
My
case he
goodness.
heard about any nefarious tarot reading being done, So very, very awesome blood pressure raising email to
Yeah.
receive as you're trying to start a small business. So basically, I get that email and I laughed. Like I was like, this can't be real. Like this is fake, right? And I called the nonprofit, and sure enough, it was real. And they were like, we're so sorry. Like this isn't a joke. Like this isn't a prank. Like, we're sorry this happened. Like, please forgive us. And I was like, oh, you didn't do anything, obviously. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Anyways, so at that point, I did two things. One, I contacted a lawyer because I was like, well, what the hell is this? Like, I don't know how to handle this. I've never been on trial for witchcraft before. And when I called the first lawyer, they laughed at me and said that like, oh, he's not going to come in. Like, it's just no big deal. This is like some cop throwing his weight around, and just give us a call back if he does. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
knowing full well, like this is not going to end so peacefully for me. And the second thing I did was started posting about it online. And I didn't expect it to go as viral as it did, because it reached a level of virality that I was like, oh my gosh,
Shit.
everyone in Hanover is looking at me right
Yeah.
now. For which I'm like super grateful, don't get me wrong, but it was definitely kind of like this big,
Big
all of a
exposure real
sudden,
fast. Yeah.
yeah, right. Like, and I think everyone was like, kind of like outraged, it seemed, or like they were all kind of like, no matter what side of like the spiritual spectrum you fell on, everyone was kind of like, this is really not what we should be focusing on in the big year of 2023 at the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So 2 days later, the police chief does indeed come into my shop, right? So October 5th at this point. It was himself and another unnamed officer whose badge number I did not have like the mental faculty to like
Mhm.
request at the
Right.
time, because two
Hmm.
grown men in
Hmm.
police uniforms came into my shop. And when I say police uniform, I don't mean like the full strap like stuff, right? They had what I have been referring to as like their casual Friday, like polo that was
Like
like
their gun
navy with
out.
like the
Yeah.
little like
Yeah.
logo on it,
Yeah.
matching khakis. Like they were obviously law enforcement officers.
Yeah.
Um, and they came in, they kind of backed me into the corner of my shop. And they the first thing he said to me was, hi, my name is Police Chief Chad Martin, and I am here to have a conversation with you. And I said, okay, sure. Do you mind if I record this conversation? I'd like to be sure that, I'm in full understanding of what is going on here, and that there's no
Yeah.
ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
To which he said that I was not allowed to do that, because he was there under for personal reasons, and
Mm-hmm.
that he was just trying to have an adult conversation with me.
Okay.
To which point I was like, okay, well, I don't really feel comfortable. If I can't record the conversation, I'm not comfortable talking to you without a lawyer present, so you'll have to take me to the police department, if
Yeah.
if you want, I don't really want to talk to you without a lawyer. And he
Yeah.
just kind of continued anyways. Like he continued citing the law to me and was like, so here in Pennsylvania, just so you know, there is a law that dates back to 1861 that outlaws not only, well, it's fortune telling of any kind. So it's not just tarot. It's like palmistry, astrology, like horoscopes, palm reading, like any sort of divination, runes, bones, charms, whatever.
Not mediumship?
Along with, I'm sorry?
Mediumship?
Yep, totally. Mediumship, any sort of inspection of like the head or hands, any sort of anything, right? Channeling, along with love spells, necromancy, like fortune, like good spells of like all of the stuff that
Mm-hmm.
like things that you might come across in a metaphysical environment, right?
Yeah.
So he cited this to me and then told me that for each offense I was facing up to a year in jail, right, with for each charge, or a fine of $2,500, and that advertisement counted as evidence against me. So
Oh my
anytime I
God.
posted on it about about it on social media, anytime I made any sort of, like, I was running the risk of being sent to jail for a year or charged $2,500 for a social media post, which, like, I don't just have lying around to be spending, like, for,
No.
marketing.
Are there
So
other businesses in the state of Pennsylvania that offer this?
Oh yes. So
Of course.
I was actually the newest shop in town at the time. Like, there were
Yeah.
four other metaphysical shops. I would have been the fifth. And all of them offered these services. And I know this because I was a patron. Like,
Yeah.
I used to go there and, like, have, like, and with not, maybe not the blessing, but, like, at least, like, with, like, the understanding and friendship of these, like, shops, like, they were very, like, foundational actually into me setting up. Like, I had a lot of help in the beginning. So anyways, um yeah, I it was just so bizarre and out of the blue. Like, it was so crazy. So he came in, he cited it to me. I did mention, like, I had signs up all around my shop and on my website, and, like, I made people, like, basically, like, look at a waiver and be like, do you agree to this? And it said that, like, you understand that this is a tarot reading. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a like, I'm not a real estate, like, I'm not a financial broker.
Yeah.
Like, I am not giving you this advice. Like, I am just reading my cards. Like, you understand what you're getting into, and, like, this is for entertainment purposes only. So I had this sign in three different places around my establishment, like, before you even got to the back. Like, do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I really believe in, like, informed consent.
Yeah.
And prior to this, I had talked to these other shops who would advise me, like, hey, just in case, like, this is what we do, because, we've never run into this as a problem, but, you never know. So, it was kind of like, it was good that I had that. It was kind of crappy that I had to in the first place, but
Mhm.
I think that really was, like, a good, like, like a fallback, to have, is just,
Yeah.
hey, listen, I'm not defrauding people. No one is coming into my shop believing that they are, receiving a like, no one's expecting me to levitate or tell them where their dead parents are. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and even if I was, that shouldn't be illegal.
Yeah.
So, like, that's kind of where I think the crux of this argument comes. Because after that, basically he said, like, hey, if I get any reports about this, or if I see you doing this, like, I'll be back, like, for sure. Like,
Why
it was
is
like the
this his
Terminator.
personal
Like,
is this his personal vendetta? Like,
I'm not 100% sure. I have heard, like, whisperings that he is a member of a very conservative, like, church. So I'm
mhm.
not sure, like, what that is, or, like, what I have absolutely no clue, like, what really sparked it, other than a bee in someone's bonnet. Um but, and, like, reading the article, I
And
guess, like, visibility.
it's also curious to be like, what's your past life connection with this dude?
Right. No,
Yeah.
I keep joking. I'm like, yes, he burned me as a witch in the 1400s, and
Or
I
you
told him
burned
I would
him.
be back. Like,
You burned him. He was the other way
right,
around. Yeah.
right. Either way, right. 100%. Where it's just like, why? Yes, no, I have, like, put on hold a lot of that sort of exploration until after this is over, because,
Yeah.
like, I
It's not
don't
gonna
know.
help.
Like, it's
Yeah.
just a lot. And I want hopefully the situation to, like, wrap up positively, so I can kind of go back and do some, like, personal work on it. But um after we had the initial contact, I then got in touch with, like, a lawyer who actually helped me out and was like, hey, this is a major violation of your First Amendment, like, constitutional rights. Like, this is super illegal. Like, you should be more upset about this than you are seeming. Like, do
Hmm.
you want to do something about it? And I said, yeah, man, like, I don't want this happening to anybody else, because that, like, sucks. Like, it's not fun to have to sit here and be, like, targeted by the police when you're just trying to, like, open a business, dude.
Oh,
So, um, yeah, so she kind of went back and forth with the lawyer of the borough, basically trying to get them to grant me, like, essentially a witch's license that allowed me to, like, read tarot cards, like, with an understanding with the borough, like that they are not going to enforce the law because they understand that it's unconstitutional. And we like could not get to an agreement on that for like a year and a half. Like there was all of this back in like months and months and months. So we ended up like suing them. I filed a 17-page long lawsuit against the Hanover Borough and the police chief, I believe in August of 2024. So about like almost a year later. And then after that, like in February of 2025, so this is again another year almost, well, maybe 6 months later,
Yeah.
I was granted what's called a temporary injunction, which basically says that as long as I am in a lawsuit against like challenging this law in court, if that makes sense. Because basically what I did was when we filed our lawsuit, the like hinge of our argument is that this law is unconstitutional and needs to be taken off the books, right? So that's like the aim. Like I'm not when I said I filed a lawsuit, like it's not for like money, it's not for like anything like that or like damages, but it's like it's to get an unconstitutional law off the books. So basically I have a piece of paper called a temporary injunction that allows me to read tarot cards for the duration of my court case without them like knocking on my door and coming and investigating me, which is like really cool. And like definitely has taken a lot of the pressure off, and I've been able to do readings since then, which is awesome. And then basically what is happening now is because this is challenging a law on the PA like law books. I have to like sue basically like the state of Pennsylvania in order to like get this law completely off the books. So it like was escalated from like a borough, like kind of county level to like now a district level. So it's like a district court. And the DA's office got involved like directly, which is like crazy, but it's required. They have to like defend the laws as they are. Like it's part of their job, whether or not they actually agree with it. And like because it's, you know, challenging that, now we have a little bit of a bigger to-do. So the DA's office has been trying since like last year to basically get this case dismissed, where they're like, this is stupid. The law is legal as it stands. Like they keep trying to petition the judge because that's basically their defense. And finally, I think like 2 weeks ago, time is like crazy, so I'm not sure if it was even longer or maybe yesterday. I have no idea. But basically, I got a call from my lawyer saying like, "Hey, we're finally moving forward. The judge has denied for the last time any sort of motion to dismiss this case and has required court." Right. So July 22nd, which is coming up quickly. I think it's like 22 days away.
Is that
today.
Mary Magdalene's Day?
I'll have to look it up. I want to do some more of like the astrology, and I'm going to be making a couple videos about that. But yeah, it would be cool if it was. That would be really excellent.
I'm going to look it up
around it.
Yeah, that's neat. You got the support of the goddess.
Hopefully, you know, that would be cool.
It is.
That's crazy.
It's official feast day of Mary Magdalene.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to have to work that. Thank you for letting me know. I'm going to have to work that into some spell work because that is super cool.
That is.
Actually, that really just made my day. So
it just gave me chills. Yeah.
Yeah, that made my day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Anyways, basically on that day, I have a phone call with the courts that says like, hey, here's like the timeline. Here's like a final schedule as to like when this is going to be over by. So like, we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I know it sounds weird to say that like this conference call is such a big win, but to be able to sit down with like the district court and say, hey, this is like a serious issue. Like, all jokes aside, like, yes, hee ha ha, witch trial, yay, 21st, like, whatever. But also, like, this is serious. This was like a major violation of like a private citizen's rights by a public official for like seemingly, and I don't want to like, I don't know, so this is all like alleged, but for seeming like religious like motivation, right? Or like some sort of like prejudicial motivation against what we do here, right? And I really do I think that like, yes, yes, it was a big issue in 2023, but I think it's an even bigger issue now, like as this administration is kind
Yeah.
of like seated into power. That I think that like standing up against like, you know, systems of oppression that are using like the this we're blurring the lines of the separation of church and state a little bit in this case, and I really do think that it's important to like keep these things separate for sure.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you know, if it is religious, great, awesome. You know, there is part of me that's like, please don't tax me. You know, but at the same time, that's a whole other conversation. But yeah, no, it is definitely, I think that this issue, like for as like crazy and as like unhinged as it seems, like weirdly has bridged a lot of the Hanover community. Like there has been a lot of people who, like, again, no matter what side of the aisle that they sit on politically or like where they are spiritually, like on this in the spiritual world, everyone kind of agrees that like it shouldn't have happened, and if we're not hurting people we should just be left alone, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. And it seems that I am not hurting people, I'm doing my best, you know.
Yeah. That is quite amazing. And it is like kind of with the white Christian nationalist movement. It's an important message to
Right.
amplify, you
Right.
know.
And it's not that it's like this new thing. Like I feel like there's this almost like rhetoric that this is like a new concept, but like there's been this like undercurrent of like very like fundamentalist ideals that like really are anti-witchcraft, anti-paganism, who like that, like we see roots of it in like the satanic panic from like the 80s and stuff like
Mhm.
that. That just
Mhm.
really like didn't necessarily go away, but changed and maybe kind of like evolved in a way that we're seeing kind of come to the forefront or the present right now because of the what's going on in the political world.
No, and it always surprises me. Like over the years, I've become more sober to the
Yeah.
reality of people's fears or their positions being so against the kind of work we do.
Yeah.
And you're like, really, still like that? Like,
Yeah, I'm like, you know, like we're vegetarians and we like just really like the moon, dude. Like, you know, like I obviously that's boiling it down, but for real, the Serpent's key, like my shop, I'm an eclectic pagan. I primarily work with Hekate, the goddess of the crossroads and of liminal spaces.
mhm.
But a huge part of my upbringing was like upbringing, but like my growing up, I should say, is kind of overcoming and like really becoming okay with like the religious trauma that I went through when I kind of got out of the church, because there was a lot, like I grew up in a really kind of fundamental I grew up in Virginia, so there was just a lot of like very religious places that I tended to grow up in that did not end very well when you know, you get into the space of like speaking in tongues and laying of hands, like that was just not for me. So in like kind of understanding and confronting that, I also like really wanted this space to be open like legitimately to all spiritualities, like and to have it be kind of a place that everyone could find common ground. So we offer a quarterly Bible study like with a local church that I work with,
Oh,
who
really?
is like super inclusive, like they are LGBTQ like friendly, they have like drag queens like in church, like it's super cool. We like partner with them. I think I'm kind of like this because my mom's like my mom's Jewish, so like I don't know why, like I was raised in such, well I do know why, it was my dad, but like we were raised in such like a religious household, but like even just growing up with that duality itself like really led me to be open to so many different like belief systems, and
Mhm.
truly this belief that we all like at the end of the day just want to be kind to each other and want kindness for other people, hopefully.
Yeah.
And like no matter what, every religion has that kind of like golden rule, which is kindness. And
Yeah.
here we focus a lot on like the rhythms of the planet and Mother Earth and like the natural like cycle of things. So that
Mhm.
way everyone can feel included without feeling like they have to, you know,
Ascribe
pledge
to a
allegiance to
certain,
a goddess
yeah.
that they don't really like care about. Like, you know what I mean? So even
So
though
is,
I'm super into Hekate, like I'm not like, and you have to too. Like
yeah.
that's yeah, we're very like open. And I think that like because of that aspect as well, it has allowed Hanover to kind of like the witchy, like alternative, like queer pagan community in Hanover to kind of really have a foothold and a place to like be, which is like really, really special and cool.
Do you do like gatherings that, like what's your primary, is it mostly retail or do you do one-on-one services and group things? Like what's your work like
So
there?
we do a little bit of everything. We definitely, the main store is retail. So we host over 40 different local artists and vendors. So everything is like handmade by like local people, which is really cool. So from like bath and body products to like actual like spell ingredients, like art, decor, print, like everything is like as locally sourced as I can get it. And it is all from within the US, which is really, really cool. Oh, except for one from Canada. Sorry. Let me say I have one candle company who ships us from Montreal and she's wonderful. But beyond that, we I do offer like one-on-one services. I do offer tarot reading during the week. Like you can book an appointment with me, and I'll occasionally
Mhm.
do like pop-ups where like once a month I go over to across the street to my friend's coffee shop and I do pay what you can or if you can readings.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, like I allow people just to come in. I do a quick, like not quick spread, but like a nice like solid reading for them. And but I don't ever expect like payment. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like it's or if like I have people who are artists, right? Who are like, I made you this art. Would you trade me for a read? Like, yeah, of course. Like
Yeah.
obviously. So we definitely have like I have that one-on-one. I go out and do things and then um we have at least two rituals a month, one on the full moon and one on the new moon. So that's either some of them are big gatherings, some of them are a little bit more intimate. New moon ones tend to be a little bit more quiet. Like we usually have like 6 to 10 people. Full
Mhm.
moons maybe up to 20, 25, which hey, pretty good for a full moon,
Yeah.
especially in Hanover. And then for the holidays, like on the wheel of the year, we have a really big circle for those. So usually like 45 people
Oh,
about to
nice.
come. So it's like, we do have stuff regularly. All of those are completely free to attend. Like they are like open to the public, open to anyone who wants to come, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it is like all of this, we have like a nice like event calendar on our website and like in the store, like a paper calendar for people to pick up too, because I have ADHD and I need stuff like in front of my face. So yeah, I want this to be a place that is like inclusive and like open and just like not scary or unapproachable because I do understand that there is sometimes this because I experienced it like a level of unapproachability in some like metaphysical spaces where it's like, oh, I feel like I have to know what I'm talking about, and whether or not that is like the anxiety or imposter syndrome or if it
Right.
is the vibe, I think it's fair. And I really want to like challenge the notion that you have to understand anything that we do
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
like because
Yeah.
if you just like it, you're also allowed just to like it. Like,
Yeah. 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 I know as far as people being intimidated to it, always
sure.
makes me laugh because it's like I'm like coming to work with my dog, and she's
Yeah.
like a little beagle black lab.
Yeah.
And I'm like crossing the street, and I know people are like looking at me with my key out to unlock the door, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
there's that girl." It's like
Yeah, right. It's like,
I'm like
ooh,
the
the
most
magnanimous. And I'm like,
approachable. Yeah.
yeah, dog, I got like, I'm like eating a sandwich, like on the, yeah, dude. Like, I straight up, I tripped on the sidewalk and like completely ate shit. And like, I like looked up and I see one of my clients being like, oh my God, are you okay? So like I really hope the illusion of this like mysterious shop owner is like shattered because dude, I'm just hanging out. Like this
Yeah.
is like, well, do you like my things? Me too. Like, and do you perhaps like these wares? I didn't make it, but I put it on the shelf. Like that's very much the vibe here, and I really hope that like translates because I never want people to feel like they can't come or like they
Yeah.
can't, just be themselves,
Well, I
even
know
if that
you
is
you
eccentric.
posted that picture you posted, that card that you got in the mail, which I thought was fun at first.
Oh
It's like a Mother
my
Mary on
God.
the cover. It was like a collage kind of style.
Yeah,
I was like, I was down.
me
It seemed exciting.
too. So yeah, I like got that letter. It was actually on the summer solstice, which I thought was really funny, or like the day
Yeah.
that we were celebrating.
Yeah.
Because we did it like the day before, because I didn't want people to like have to like pick between that and father. Anyways,
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
why I'm explaining that. That
But
was
no,
last
I get
week.
it. I get it.
Yeah, right. So I like see the letter and it's like not like there's no return address or whatever. And I was like, okay. And I turn it over and there's like a little Mary sticker on the like the back. And I turned to my partner and I was like, hey, 50-50 over under if this is like good or not. Like, what do
Right,
you
right.
think? And she was like, so I opened it and I was like, okay, you know what? Like again, like you said, like there was Mary on the cover, and you know what? Like I'm always open to the like the chance that there is somebody who is like genuinely like, hey, we see the work that you're doing in the community, and thank you
Yeah.
for being a neighbor. Like, do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, there's I don't. I'm always open to it being a
Positive.
positive interaction
Yeah.
before I immediately assume negative.
Yeah.
But then I opened it and it was like, keep your sexuality to yourself. Like, no one cares about your, like, whatever. And I'm like, okay. Like, okay. And it just made me laugh. And it turns out not only did I get a letter, but several other businesses around town got the same sort of like serial killer-esque, like cut and paste letter about us being proud to be queer, which I think just reinforces the fact that Pride Month is needed. Like,
Yeah.
like thanks for proving my point.
Oh my
At the end of
gosh.
the day.
I know. It was very funny. Like you put a lot of effort. I mean, some effort, like it was
Yeah,
like,
that it was like hand collage. Like someone
yeah,
took like cut it out and glued it
they
onto
got
the
out.
paper.
Yeah.
Like the front too. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay.
They
But it
printed
was
it
really
out.
funny.
Yeah, I know. They literally cut and pasted. Like they put effort in.
Yeah. One of the other businesses next door to us, they were like, "Oh, you guys got color ink? We only got black and white."
So
It
strange.
was so funny.
So on July 22nd is when you're meeting with like the district thing. So and that would
Yes.
that determine if it goes onto a state level? Like, because I know you said
So
you
we're
posted
already
something.
at kind of the state level. So basically, the phone call on the 22nd that I have with the courts establishes like when this is going to be over by. So it's
Oh,
like,
okay.
hey, so we have until this date to finish discovery, which is basically like when I hand over my phone and they go through my text messages to see if I am practicing witchcraft or whatnot. Like, I don't really know what they are planning to discover, but I have had to keep my texts like intact for 3 years.
Oh my
So if you can
God.
imagine what my inbox looks like. But anyways, so it's like discovery, and then there's gonna be like arguments that are presented, and then like a ruling from the judge. So it's kind of like just giving like deadlines, because otherwise, like, it could drag on forever, as it already kind of has. It's been almost 3 years, like at this
So
point.
crazy.
I know, isn't that wild?
I guess it's good for publicity, right?
Hey, and it does like in a bittersweet way. Like it is like nice that it's like lagged on this long, because I have that piece of paper in place. Like so,
Mm.
like I'm fine, but like that really is not like my goal. I want everyone in Pennsylvania to be fine, because like
Yeah.
you just shouldn't have to deal with like the police coming and being like, "Are you a witch?" Like, what are we doing here, dude?
Yeah.
What in the 1692, is happening?
And what are you aware of any other businesses in the state of Pennsylvania having crap like that happen to them? No.
Nope. So
Wow.
I have heard like people, this is really actually very precious. There are a few people who are older, who are maybe like in their, I would say, like mid 70s and older, right? Who told me that there used to be a lady named Aggie who like lived in Gettysburg, and like she read playing cards. Like she was an old school like fortune teller, and they would chase her around like from shop to shop. But like it was really cute. Everyone's like, "Well, so it must be that you got a little touch of Aggie on you," and I'm like, "I hope so. I hope like I'm doing her proud." But yeah, I do know that like there have been like some, but that apparently was like years ago, like at
Right.
least 30 or 40 years ago. So like there has never been a historic like successful use of this law ever. Like it's only ever been used to tack on time for people who are like actually committing fraud, who are like, you know, being like, yes, I put a curse on you and only $10,000 will
Yeah.
cure. Like that is what this law is meant for, not like the average metaphysical store who,
Right.
like myself, is charging maybe between $20 to $100 for a session. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
So
I know there's plenty of shysters out there that take advantage
for
of
sure.
people and have no
And
ethics.
they do like put, you know, a bad, they do sour like the reputation of
I know.
actual readers. But like at the end of the day, there are already laws on the book that like deal with that, because that is not like fortune telling. That's like wire fraud. Like that's like
Yeah.
a scam. Like that is like, you know, that is something that already carries much more significant penalties and like actual legal like punishment, rather than this like old dusty law from
Yeah.
1861 that again is only ever like used if the flavor of the scam is like Miss Cleo or whatever, to
Yeah.
like tack on additional like jail time or like fines.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's very very silly, but it is
Mhm.
definitely a it has definitely been a saga in my life that I am like not happy that I get to like endure or whatever go through, but it is definitely something that I'm looking forward to putting behind me for not only myself but like for like every
Mhm.
witch in Pennsylvania who like has been affected by this situation. Like, because a lot of folks have been like, oh my gosh, now I'm afraid to have this at my establishment. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
hopefully you won't have to for long, you know?
Yeah. I know. And it's crazy that it's been so long because like I don't know when I started following you, but
Yeah.
it's been a while. And then like
Yeah.
I'd seen you posting about it still, and I'm like, still? Like
Yeah.
it hasn't been resolved yet, you know? Like, oh my
No.
God. So
I know.
hopefully it'll be behind you, and then and you could, have a little plaque on the
I know.
wall
I'm
or
really
something.
excited. I'm hoping to have some sort of like festival or
Yeah.
celebration.
Yeah.
Um, you know, on the 22nd though, if anyone is interested, like if you have any other like energy workers or people who are just interested in lending some like help or energy or what have you, I organized like a little candle spell. So I have all the instructions. I've been posting it like every day on my Instagram, of like, hey, pick a candle color and light it on the 22nd to like, you know, either for whatever purposes. Like there's three
Hmm.
different candle colors. There's some like herbs that you can use if you wanted to dress it. And then if people are really feeling froggy, they can write like a postcard or like a letter to their representative, whether they live in PA or to any PA resident or excuse me, representative if they are a resident outside of the state. So whoever you wanted, if you were, you know.
That's great. What's your website?
So our website is Serpent's Key Shop, SHOPPE shop.com.
Okay.
And that is where you can find all sorts of stuff, like all of our events and everything. And then we're also, again, super active on like Facebook, Instagram. I'm over on TikTok. I'm trying to do Threads, but failing because there's a lot of social media
It's a
sites to
lot.
keep up with.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah,
lot for
I
sure.
know.
So I figure being present in the present is really what to focus on.
I know. And it's like the right people will find you wherever they need to find you.
Exactly,
Do you
exactly. I
do
have
you
that.
do do you do any distance offerings or like over the phone type
Totally.
sessions? Yeah.
So I do offer like Zoom readings and stuff over like, oh my gosh, not kind of over Zoom. That is though like by request. So people, there's like a little place on my website that's like, hey, are you far away?
Yeah.
Special request. So that way I can put it in
Yeah.
like on my schedule and know that it's Zoom and not like me expecting someone from like North
Yeah.
Carolina to be like
Right.
walking through like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So is that the primary thing you do is tarot, or do you do
Yep.
other modalities?
So I'm primarily a tarot reader. That is really like the thing that I have found that I stick with and like
Yeah.
have really like glommed onto the most. But
Hmm.
I do work with and like refer out to other readers, like people who are either astrologers or like oracle or like just pure like mediums, you know. So I do
Hmm.
have like there's this really beautiful like cohesive network of folks who like kind of have their expertise,
Of
shall we
course.
say.
Yeah.
And like it's really cool because I feel like we all refer out to each other. Like I refer people out for Reiki because I don't I could become a Reiki master if I wanted to, but I don't. Like
Well, I know we
so
all have our own specialties. Like my big
right,
thing is Reiki, and
right. exactly.
craniosacral and massage, but I also
Perfect.
pull cards
Yep.
and, I read the energy of the body. But I have like an astrologist friend who's
Hmm.
also a medium, so I
Yep,
refer people to
exactly.
her. I refer people to all, I have a cool spectrum of healer
Yep,
friends. So same, if your people are ever in the North Jersey area, like I've got
I
a
got
nice
you.
community going on too,
Oh
and
yeah.
so it's just like, I know it's nice to be able to serve the people. Of course, in-person stuff is always like extra special,
A
but
100%. But yeah, I think I keep joking that we're 21st century witches. So like we accept Apple Pay and like do stuff over Zoom now. Like it's fine.
I know. It's pretty cool, like the different evolution of how we've come to be here now and
A
the
hundred
different things
percent.
we've had to deal with. And like the witch wound is such a big thing. So it's funny
It
because
is.
if you hadn't already done any witch wound work, I guess all of this lifted that up for you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm really lucky. I was yeah, there was a lot that went on in 2023 because not only did this happen, then I got divorced on top of it. So it was just like my life was
Oh my
like,
goodness.
woo!
Yeah.
But I'm really grateful. I had a really wonderful therapist who was had been a practitioner. Like she was like in her 70s maybe and had been practicing since like 1960. Like
Mhm.
and I did not know this prior to me sitting down with her. Like we just kind of discovered I was like, oh, you also like tarot. And like,
Yeah.
so she had been my therapist prior to any of this, right? Like for years. So
Oh,
like
cool.
having her, like having, being able to like talk to the crone, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? In a lot of ways was incredibly helpful. And I think I really credit to like me keeping it together as best as I did,
Hmm.
during the height of everything.
That's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. I know just that level of exposure and is
Yeah.
very confronting.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And in a tiny town, it's like, oh, hello, everyone.
they know
But no,
you.
I love
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
really been a blessing. Maybe not even in disguise. I always kind of knew. I was like, this is bad right now, but like it'll be fine. Like I do really think it is has been a blessing to the community because we were able to find each other, and it's almost like putting out a bat signal. It's like, oh, if you like witchy stuff, come here.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so the big call to action, because like I'll release this episode as soon as I
Perfect.
can. It's the end of June, beginning of July, practically, and
Yes,
so we have 3 weeks before your
I
call.
know.
So
Indeed,
so
indeed.
yeah.
Ah, craziness.
But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to feel that much support around you. So I'm sure
Yeah,
you feel pretty insulated and
I do.
in
It's
good
very
company.
comforting, and I'm
Yeah.
very grateful for it. It's been awesome.
Well, very cool. I'm glad that you could, share this message with whoever catches it. And
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. And then would you say your Instagram is also your business name, but is it the Serpent's Key or is
Yep,
Serpent's Key?
you got it. So
Yeah.
it's the underscore serpents underscore key. And then you can also find me under the stitching witch. That's like my personal Instagram and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
Same thing with the underscores on Instagram, but minus the underscores on TikTok. I know it's a little bit confusing, but hey, sometimes people take your handles.
And what, yeah, and then one thing, leads to the other anyway. So it's easy enough to find, I'm sure.
Exactly.
So, well, thanks for hanging out and talking and filling us in, and good luck with everything. I'm sure,
Thank you.
I'm sure with all of the support you've got, plus Mary Magdalene's
Yeah. Yeah,
day.
for real. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Thank you again for sharing that. That's so amazing.
Of course.
But yes, no, thank you for having me on and again giving me the platform to talk because like Lord knows I'm a yapper. So
Yeah, the more people know, the better. So this is
indeed,
awesome.
indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Beck.
Bye.
Bye.